Because this is what the good news is all about, is restoring Israel. And it's also about those that were not Israel grafting into and becoming Israel. Now, only Paul talks about it as grafting in, but that's the process as we understand that, the opportunity for all to become Israel. It's not about the good news of some brand new thing that's completely separated from the Old Testament. It is what people were expecting because of what was said by the prophets in the Old Testament. That's the really key piece. The good news was, hey, this thing you've been waiting for forever, it's starting. It's here. Remember, Paul is mostly telling this story, and Luke is documenting it. And so he understands, I was terrible. But I thought I was right. This is for all of you, especially you coming out of, like, say, Christianity, and you were so convinced you were so right, only to find out you weren't. But yet, that's not some permanent stain against you. You only worked on based on what you understood. Paul acted on what he understood. He believed with everything of his being that he was right, and these people were wrong, and he was doing things, this is like, Lord, Lord, we did this stuff in your name, Lord. He would have been like, Lord, Lord, I persecuted all these people to protect you and defend you, and when by Lord, Lord, he was meaning Yahweh at that time, right? But that's not, he came to find out that wasn't the right thing to do. And so did you with things in your life. You found out that those were not the right things to do. And so you made a change. You repented. You turned around, teshuvah. So the number of tall ones increased greatly in Jerusalem, and a great many of the priests were obedient to the belief. So there were priests, okay, of the Jewish sect that were getting that this new understanding, a deepening, a more fuller understanding, not a different replacement understanding. They were embracing the fullness of this more clear understanding by not adding or taking away. Like, we're not adding Messiah. Messiah was a part of it. Now they see it. They see that part where they couldn't see it before. It was always there. We're not adding. I know a lot of people coming out of the Jewish idea, or they're leaving and going back into Judaism, or going into Judaism even if they've never been there, think that somehow Messiah is now we're adding. No, Messiah was always a part of this. He's the Word made flesh. He's being accused of teaching against the Torah. Falsely accused. It says very clearly these are false accusations. So you know what that means? The reverse is true. He was teaching Torah. Stephanos was teaching Torah after the resurrection. So either somehow he missed that it was nailed to the cross and we don't have to do it anymore, or maybe that never happened. Or maybe there was never an instruction that things were done away with, nailed to anything. Oh, but what about where it says, well, your rap sheet was nailed. That's what was wrapped. That was the things that were against you were nailed to the stake. That's what it says in Ephesians. Okay, it's not the law of Moses that was nailed to anything. Law of Moses was written on stones and put in the ark and honored with only a few items that ever went in the ark. Well, as long as we believe some of the same things and whatever we all think the core things are, it's okay if we disagree on everything else. That's not what it says. The unity of the fullness of the completeness in your belief up to the measure and stature of Yeshua. He expects us to be echad as the Father and Son are echad. That's not what you hear in most Messianics. Most Messianics will sound like, well, can't we all just get along? You know. They think everybody, no matter what they believe, is still brothers and sisters. We're all still in the body. No, we're not. Okay? The body is made up of what? What is the measuring stick that you're in the body? Covenanted people believing in Messiah. Period. Isn't that what it says in Revelation? These are those that have the testimony of Yeshua and are keeping the commandments. I mean, that is a description, a simple description of the body. But yet, you want to think that everybody's in the body. And believe it or not, even though you don't have a brain down here, science thinks there is some sort of a brain mechanism down here, okay? In the heart area. And those two aspects are not always in sync. And the emotions, in some ways, I think are stronger than the logic side. But both sides want both sides to be in sync. The emotions are just more forceful about it. So they get you to be blinded with that emotion so you can't think straight. Literally thinking the straight way. You're thinking a skewed, crossed up, messed up, twisted way. That's what the emotions are doing to you. We have to strengthen the intellect side, the logical side of our system, so that, not that you become like Spock or something like, I'm just logical, no emotion. Okay? No, but don't let emotion rule. Allow the emotion, because logically it's a good time to allow it and it's an appropriate emotion. Because then your logic side is allowing for all that, but still is the guiding mechanism. Never did he even hint that somehow this Messiah, this Yeshua, changed anything. He was fulfilling the promise of his coming. Well, you know, Yeshua fulfilled. Yes, he did. He fulfilled the things he was supposed to do. He didn't fulfill anything you were supposed to do. You know, I know I've said this a lot, I haven't said it maybe in a couple of teachings, but you guys need to own and hear this above everything else. The Messiah did only what he had to do. He did nothing. Please hear this. Nothing that you need to do. He will do things you can't do, but things that you need to do, that the Father expects you to do and wants you to do and desires you to do, he did none of that. You cannot lean on, well, everything that's good that I need to do, Yeshua did it, so I don't have to do it. Nonsense. Go, you know what? Open up your logical brain and see how stupid that sounds. Does it make sense that 4,000 years from Genesis to the New Testament of the Father making it really clear, I want you and need you to trust me and obey me. And I'm going to tell you what to do and what not to do, but you need to do it. Then all of a sudden now that all goes out the window and you get to just have a free ride into the forever because somebody else did it for you? Would you, if you owned a business, give somebody a promotion that you know somebody else did all the work and did everything for, but you're going to let them have the promotion? When you know they didn't do any of it, why would you do that? You'd promote the person that did the works, right? So we know Yeshua did his stuff, so we know why he's sitting at the right hand. So why would you be in the kingdom? Because you did your stuff. And your stuff, believe it or not, is the same stuff as his stuff. He just had some additional things to do that you don't have to do because he was Messiah. They're stoning Stephen, and you're worried about a relative being mad at you. Okay? I'm serious. How many times in Acts do you read the apostles being told, if you don't shut up, we're going to arrest you? Then they keep talking, they get arrested anyway because they weren't afraid. But you're afraid. And some of you think, oh, but you're not afraid to go on street corners and do all this other stuff. No, you're afraid when push comes to shove and challenges your life. You're okay saying what you want and going out and bothering people in line at the store and whatever. But what about when push comes to shove and your life's about to have a little hiccup, little tailspin? Are you going to trust him? And trust him meaning take action that demonstrates you trust him. Not trust him and sit back and do nothing. But trust him by taking action, trusting that he will provide what you need because you trust him and are taking action. It's the restoration of things, which means it's being restored back to what it was supposed to be. Not we're going to take, okay, look, if I have a really beautiful like leather chair, well, let's say, no, I got a beautiful 67 Mustang and I want to restore it. Am I going to just take it apart and put all brand new things on it that are 2024? Or am I going to make it look like it looked in 1967? So when he's restoring all things, we're making it look like it was originally. We're restoring it back to the original. We're not getting rid of the original, putting all new parts. Okay? I mean, I can get a 67 and then make it with all new stuff. I'm not going to call it a restoration job, though. I just took the stuff I liked and kept and everything else I put new stuff on, and it's just whatever I call it now. But people who do restorations look for the original parts and original look and original this and to make it look like exactly like it was to begin with. We're supposed to look like how it was intended from the beginning.